Hey everybody, I am ARMR, and what I watched today is Reboot, Season 1, Episode 13, Identity Crisis Part 2. That's right, it's time for Part 2 of the Season 1 finale, Identity Crisis. Can our intrepid heroes overcome the gruesome funhouse and rescue the PIDs before Megabyte reformats the entire sector in his image? Well, there's 3 more seasons, so I imagine they succeed, but let's see how. After a brief last time segment, we rejoin our heroes outside the funhouse. Bob rebooting immediately, but Dot, crushed by Megabyte's word, is stuck in a funk, and practically needs to be forced to reboot by Bob. I understand this frame of mind all too well. All the plans you had laid, the people you were going to help, it's all slipped through your fingers and you can't see how to fix it all. All you see stretching before you is the emptiness, all the plans you had that are gone. You need someone to sort of take your hand and turn you around, show you that there is another path, that you can fix this. Hopefully Dot will shake it off soon, since it's really doubtful that Bob will win the funhouse on his own. In a game that we've heard so much about, that's been built up by the characters as this legend, this gruesome legend, it's naturally not long until they encounter the user. A scary clown figure that definitely looks like he's been using something. Like that is like meth face or something. I don't know. Ugh, seriously. This user character is the avatar of creepy clown dreams. We get a brief aside of Megabyte gloating, yada yada yada, then right back into the game, where Bob is keeping a positive attitude as he tackles both the user and Dot's spirits. Love that the entrance to the level is a doom slide down yet another creepy clown's throat. Seriously, I can't remember the last video game carnival that wasn't creepy. So this episode really is bang on. I mean every video game carnival I can think of is really creepy. The Joker's Carnival in the Batgirl DLC for Arkham Knight, the Meat Circus and Psychonauts. If you haven't played the Psychonauts, just buy it, play it. It's available on like every console's online store, and it is awesome. It's usually super cheap on console or Steam. Seriously, play it, you'll love it. Anyway, back to the episode. As this goes on, we see a very odd moment with Fawn watching them on a vid window. This kind of confused me because in the past we've been shown that characters can't see what's going on inside a game. Like the last time Bob didn't make it into a game, he was sitting outside with Glitch, like monitoring something on a screen, but he didn't have any images, he just had a bunch of bars. So the idea that Fong has the ability to watch the game on a vid window kind of feels a bit odd. He foreshadows something he's going to do later. Then the first time I watched this, I thought that he was trying to tell us there was something deeper, that what we were seeing might not be real. But we'll find out later exactly what he pulls. It's an excellent bit of writing, and it does give us a little bit of a foreshadowing towards the twist. I just read it wrong the first time I saw it. And really, the twist they give us is a little weaker than what I thought they were going for. Ah well, you can't win them all. Bob falls for one of the funhouse's traps, and Dot is left alone with the words that it's all up to her. So, of course, she freezes up at first. She's still doubting herself. She's scared that her recent failure means she's not as clever as she thinks. The weirdness is kind of compounded as Fong pops up behind Dot. He does something to her head, and suddenly the music is slowing down and the game declares the user has won. Everything goes black, and we join Dot as she climbs out of the hole left by the game. Somehow she's not nullified, but everything around her is different. It's not mainframe everywhere anymore. It's megabytes. Everyone has a barcode, not an icon, and they exist under Megabyte's fist. Even her precious diner is falling under the sway of Megabyte. And I love this part because it's named after his pet and all. And to top things off, we have a laughable punk version of Enzo, hardened by the mean streets of Megaframe. He's kind of a dick to Dot and doesn't believe that she is who she claims, but he does point her in the direction of Bob before throwing Dot out of the diner. Dot manages to find Fong, but well, he's not right in the head. He's babbling incoherently and living in a box with Bob, who's now a null and his pet. It's here that we get another surreal moment as Fong breaks from his apparent insanity to deliver a wise line, both for Dot and for life in general.
Chance has nothing to do with it, child. The future is not determined by a throw of the dice. It is determined by the conscious decisions of you and me.
Just when it seems all hope is lost, that Dot has been barcoded and Megabyte has won, Dot wakes with a start, back in the game, as if all that horror was just a bad dream. Back in the funhouse with renewed vigor, Dot tackles the user. I love the design of the games in this series. It's all super creative and surreal, and you can tell with this one they were just going all out. I look forward to checking out the special feature tracks later, and I'm hoping to get a glimpse of, like, you know, how much of these were inspired by real-life games and how much were they just pulling out of their heads. Back in the game, Dot barely wins, but she pulls off her victory with the barest of margins, not because she, like, you know, outmaneuvered the user or beat him at the rules of the game, but because she used her own cleverness to work the rules of the game and make them work in her favor. She used her mental acuity, one of her greatest, like, defining traits, to overcome the obstacle in front of her. It's now, like, once the game's over, Fong explains that he used a reality distortion emitter on Dot in the game, which sent ripples backwards and forwards in time, which caused Dot's hallucinations in the previous episodes of Mega Frame, and a brief vision of a better future now alongside her Mega Frame Flash. The one thing that this doesn't address is how was Fong able to enter the game? Like, how did he do that? How did he manage to enter a game in progress when it has been thoroughly established that once a cube lands, no one can enter? That was a plot point in a previous episode. Bob was crushed because he was stopped from entering a game and could no longer help the people inside. If Fong has the ability to enter games just whenever he wants, couldn't he have used that to help Bob save the entire sector previously? Dude, way to hold on to a power that could have saved people. It's really an example of plot convenience power, and one of the few big writing missteps of this series. I mean, I don't know if they explain it later, but right now it kind of just feels like they were like, shit, how do we get Fong in there to administer the device? He can just enter games. Brilliant! As much praise as I have for this series, not everyone can get it right all the time. It's at this point that Dot realizes there's still time to save everyone. Her files are encrypted, and Megabyte hasn't yet broken the code because the sector is still on lockdown. So with a little quick and clever thinking and some help from Bob, Dot is able to get the file back from Megabyte, turn the tables on that traitor Skeezy, or Cyrus, and free the sector, earning a big win for Mainframe. It's amazing what you can do when you set aside your self-doubt. The twist about the RAD was well done, but as I said, it requires a great deal more explanation. I mean, really, like, what's up with Fong's abilities? He can watch games when he's outside them. He can enter them whenever he wants. I mean, if he has this kind of power, why isn't he helping Bob protect his people? I'm gonna try to stop harping on that. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you at the Season 2 premiere.